welcome back to my channel. My name is AJ for those of you who do not know already, and today we are going to be going over all the books that I read while I was in the Disney College program. When I first got down to Florida, I was reading Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, which is the second book in the Rose Hill. I always forget which series is which. It's the second book in the Rose Hill series, but I put it down because Onyx Storm came out. So I read this book when I first got down there. I think I rated this like a 3.5 stars. It wasn't my favorite. A lot of stuff was happening and it was not what I was looking for. Like, it was still a good book and I still enjoyed reading it, but there was times where I was just like, I was yelling at Violet and Xaden and just being like, come on, just communicate, talk to each other. Like, it's not that hard. But I will say though that the very end of this book had me like freaking out. Like, there's a past vlog, I think it was like maybe my like week in my life or something like that I was reading this book, and you can see the clip of me just literally reading it and being like, oh, what? Yeah, so 3.5 stars. Definitely not my favorite. You guys like this little collection thing I've got going on here? Can you tell I like this series? Anyways, so next I ended up finishing Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, which is the second book in the Rose Hill series, which I mentioned before, which is about Skylar Stone and Weston Belmont. This book had me giggling, kicking my feet. I just love this book so much. Literally, this series, I also read Wild Side like directly after because this came out like right as I finished this book. This one is about Tabitha and Reese, and let me tell y'all, this series has been my favorite of hers so far. I mean, mind you, and don't yell at me, I have not read the Chestnut Springs series yet. I read the first book and I loved it. 5 stars. It was a great book. But this series, you can see the first book right here, Wild Love. 5 stars. Both of these are 5 stars. I love these books so much. I love the characters. I love the plot. And it's such an easy read. Like, yeah, they're a bit thicker, but like it's such an easy read, and every chapter makes you want to go like, oh my gosh, I gotta continue reading. I gotta learn what else is happening, and I gotta learn more. And it's just, this book is just so good, and I'm just looking through it again because I love Elsie Silver. Have I ever mentioned that? I literally own like most of her books. She's just so amazing. Did I finish that book? I did finish that book. Oh my gosh. Next, I read a photo finish, also by Elsie Silver. Shocker. Very shocking. This book is the second book in the Gold Rush Ranch series. This series isn't my favorite of hers, but it's definitely, like, the characters are definitely, like, addicting to read about. This one is about Cole Harding and Violet Eaton. Violet Eaton is related to, I forget his name, but he's in the Chestnut Springs series. I think that's so cool. I love how all 3 of her series connect somehow. I love that. I love that, like, you see little bits and pieces of different people and different things in everything else. It's just, I love that. I love that. It's so fun. You know what I mean? Just to read it and be like, oh, wait a minute, that was in this book. And then this person, oh my gosh, that was in this book. Yeah, it's pretty freaking cool. Yeah, and then I read The Front Runner, which is the third book in this series. I just don't have it. I read it on my Kindle. That was also a really good book. It was, I forget the characters' names, but it was their Vet and Stefan, their like arch rival. Like, so good. And I loved the fact that like it was so, you could see that like Stefan wasn't actually this horrible, rude guy that like, what's her name? Billy, that's her name, Billy, who's the main character of this book, that Billy hates and stuff. But you know, it's, I can go on and on and on about Elsie Silver and her writing, and she's just, I love the way she captures everything, and that you can really understand the emotions and the plot and the setting. Like, you can just understand everything in a whole, or as a whole, just put together. You can really see it in your brain. I love that. Next, this bad boy came out, and I read this immediately. I literally, like, as soon as it came out, I was like, bye, that's mine, thank you very much. This book, for those of you who live under a rock, this is Hamish's games. This is when he was 16, 16, and when he got reaped, and his games, and just the whole thing, and everything about this book was insane. I could not put this book down. I read this in a week and a half, maybe, which is quick for me, because I take forever to read books. Like, it's a thing. And this took me like a week, maybe a week and a half to read. It's just, everything about it, just being immersed in that world again is so, in a weird way, refreshing, just because I grew up watching the Hunger Games movies and reading the books. So, like, I remember in 5th grade, I think it was, I think it was 5th grade, I didn't have to take the New York State testing. Like, I didn't have to do all that testing because my mom, like, let me opt out of it since it didn't really matter. And because I was the only one in my class who opted out, I got to read. So I read Catching Fire, and that's all I did. Like, it was like a 3.5 hour long test thing, and I sat there and I read the entire time. It was just, and then I read Mockingjay right after that, because then the next day was also state testing again. It was just, like, even my teacher came over, and I remember him being like, so you really like the book? And I'm like, yeah, I really like this book. So, like I said, everything about this world and everything, it just, I love it so much. And for this movie to come out, I don't know if it's just me. No, it's just not just me. Everyone and their mothers is doing this. I have been, like, refreshing the, like, Hunger Games official page and, like, the Sunrise on the Reaping official page on, like, TikTok and Instagram, and waiting for more casting announcements. And, like, for example, I was at a Buffalo Bandits game, and I was waiting in line for the bathroom, and I was on my phone, and they announced that, what's his name? Ralph Fiennes. I think that's how you pronounce his name. AKA Voldemort from Harry Potter. He was going to be playing Snow, and I screamed. Well, I didn't scream, but I was like, oh my God. And then this woman in front of me was like, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, I'm just freaking out over book and movie stuff. And she's like, oh, okay. So it's just, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that movie to come out. It comes out like the day before my birthday, which is very exciting. And then Wicked Part 2 comes out on my birthday. Guess what I'm doing for my birthday? Anyways, the final book I read while I was on the Disney College program was, drum roll please, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Yes, I know, I finally have read this book. I finally did it. I was putting it off for so long because I mean, the amount of hype that this book and this series gets, and just Sarah J. Maas in general, is insane. And I was nervous. I was nervous to read it. I was scared that, like, I would read it and it wouldn't be as good as everybody was saying it was, and I wouldn't get the hype and all that stuff. But my best friend Sarah, shout out Sarah, she was like, AJ, you have to read these books. She just finished the series, and now she's starting the Throne of Glass series, and she's like, AJ, you have to read this. You have to read it. And I brought it with me down in Florida, and I'm like, you know what? Let's read it. I've been reading a bunch of romance, and yes, I did just read another fantasy, but still, I've mainly been reading romance while I was down there, so I was like, you know what? Let's read it. Let's do it. So I started it, and I finished it after like 2 weeks, and I can say it is a 5-star. Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's a 5-star. It was fantastic. And I'm like nervous because Sarah was saying some stuff, and she didn't give me spoilers, but there were certain things that she was saying about like the next book and the rest of the series that I was going, oh no. So I'm currently reading A Court of Mist and Fury. Mist and Fury, yes, I'm reading that one now. So I just finished part 1, so I have like a couple more chapters left in part 2. It's pretty good so far. I'm loving Reese. I'm loving Rhysand. I don't know if that's gonna bite me in the butt eventually, but I do really like him. I've liked him from the start. Literally, when he first got introduced in ACOTAR, I was like, why do I like this bad boy? I love bad boys. I love that. I love that trope. I love that where it's like, I don't know, just that energy that he has. I love it. So I'm kind of nervous to finish this book, but I think it'll be okay. Maybe, hopefully. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah. That's all of the books that I read while I was in Florida. I was only there for like 4 months, so this is a good amount of books for me to read in that span of time. So now I'm home in Buffalo, New York. Go Bills. And I will hopefully be reading more. If you guys like this video, please make sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!